So Eddie Hearn is trying to call Ben Shalom'S bluff here regarding the Adam Azim Dalton Smith match, which has been ordered by the EBU. In a recent interview, he said, "We'll make it very easy for you. We'll do the fight on Sky. Make us an offer." You ain't going to make us an offer. What you're going to do very soon is pull Adam Azim out of that fight, right? Those are the words of Eddie Hearn. Now, I personally don't think Dalton Smith is anything special, but he's solid. So I'm not sure whether Adam Azim will be pulled out of the fight because he does have a certain amount of talent. In fact, if you're just talking about athletic ability, Adam Azim looks better than Dalton Smith in that regard. Just because you're more athletic than someone, it doesn't mean you're a better fighter overall. But if we're just talking about athleticism, Adam Azim has got that over Dalton Smith, in my opinion. But I suspect, I could be wrong, but I suspect that they're hiding something with Adam Azim. That there's something about him that is, let's say, vulnerable. And if you look at his record, if you look at the guys he's fought so far, they're all non-punchers. The last opponent he fought, this Paulson guy, only had 5 KOs in 14 wins. The previous opponent to that had 6 KOs in 24 wins. Previous to that, the opponent had 6 KOs in 24 wins as well. Previous to that, the opponent had 5 KOs in 14 wins. Are you noticing a pattern here? Now, somebody in the comments section of the video I did where I previously expressed this view and pointed out what I just pointed out there, said that if Adam Azim had, let's say, a vulnerable chin, then we'd know about it by now because he's been boxing from a very young age. Well, not necessarily, because when you're a kid, when you're coming up through the amateur ranks and you're boxing other little skinny kids, you haven't developed your man strength yet. You haven't developed real power at that stage, and neither have most of your opponents. Now, of course, there are exceptions. There are some youngsters who can punch really hard even when they haven't developed their full man strength, or maybe they develop their man strength earlier than other people. But in most cases, no, you're not going to be a tremendous KO artist when you're 14, 15 years of age and you're wearing the big amateur gloves and the headgear. Okay, so you can get through an amateur career without getting stopped when you don't have a particularly great chin. Was Amir Khan stopped in the amateurs? I know he was flawed in the amateurs, but did he ever get stopped? In fact, let's have a look at Amir Khan's amateur record on BoxRec. There's no record here of him being stopped. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't, because oftentimes amateur records on BoxRec are incomplete. I'm sure Amir Khan had a lot more fights than his amateur record on BoxRec would suggest. It says here he only had 31 wins with 3 losses, 34 fights. I'm sure Khan had way more fights than that. But at least in terms of the amateur highlight bouts, which it shows here, there's no record of him being stopped. And he was fighting good opponents. So Khan managed to get through all these fights without being stopped. Okay, there's the win he had over Victor Ortiz. And we know that Khan didn't have a great chin. Now, with Adam Azim, I'm not saying he definitely has a weak chin as well, but there are certain signs there in the way that they're moving him, which kind of point in that direction. Time will tell, I guess. And as I've said previously, there's something about Azim. The look in his eyes, to me, is vacant, like he's not completely present. How aware is he of his surroundings in the ring, of what his opponent's doing? Is he defensively and tactically aware enough for the higher levels in boxing? We'll find out very soon how confident Adam Azim's team are in his ability. We'll see whether they pull him out of the Dalton Smith fight or not. Eddie Hearn thinks they will. He's predicted they will. He's backed them into a corner, basically. He said, look, you can have the fight on Sky. I'm not even going to try to take it to a purse bid. Make me an offer. Will Adam Azim's team go for it? You guys let me know what you think.